And welcome to Racing, Pacing, Chasing. Time now for the pacing segment. Season 2, episode 12. We're starting to get through them throughout the year. I'm Aaron Bain, joined by my co-host Rocky Butterworth. Welcome, Rocky.
How are you, mate?
Excellent, mate. Couldn't be better to sit here alongside you, 1.5 metres apart. We've had the tape measure out for those.
Enjoy.
Oh, it's just great, isn't it? I tell you what, but we must thank our sponsors before we kick off. The Capunna Harness Racing Club, the Gawler Harness Racing Club for getting on board there. I tell you what, Capunna, they're just chafing at the bit to get their cup meeting up and running later in the year. But no doubt
We'll
good
be
things
there.
come to those who wait. But Rocky, you had a week off last week, your team, bit of a week to rejuvenate.
Yeah, it was
unusual for you.
One of the first times for a long time I didn't have to go to the trots at all.
We don't get to now. We've tried to register your stable in, but Mr. Ewan said you wouldn't know how to lead a horse, so that didn't work.
But the boys had a bit of a week off, but they needed it, mate. The livers needed a bit of recovery, and we hopefully be back this week.
Tell you what, there was a nice 2-year-old stepped out on Saturday night.
Well, you mentioned it to me 2 months ago, I reckon.
Yeah.
That Cab brought one out to Gawler, and
he brought 2 out at the time. This horse Artillery we talk about.
Yeah.
Artillery and also the Sneaky Fox.
Yeah.
The Sneaky Fox had been racing and probably just gone off a little bit, and Cab would agree, but he was probably just trying to keep it up for the
good races.
For the good races, the Golden Nursery. But this horse here, Artillery, and he at that time, a couple of months ago, 6-8 weeks ago, he just gave it a little freshen up and turned it out. We talk about Artillery. It's a brother to Culture King, very well bred, and I tell you what, it looks like Culture. You know, it's got that build, that solid nature in it. This is going to make a really nice horse, and I'm not sure if you've got the replay up now, but we might just take a look at its gate speed just quickly. Let's just take a look at as it gets off the arm for a 2-year-old, and then it cops pressure late, and then we talk about the favourite Sanua Beach in the race, Jason Finnis, who was unbeaten coming into this and sat outside it, and it had it off the bit at the 600, and Mark Billinger just punched out Artillery to the line, and it's going to turn into a really nice horse.
Turning, Artillery ahead in front. Senor Beach hasn't got there yet. Artillery with something up its sleeve. Senor Beach 2 metres away. They're clear, a better mind than yours. Artillery in front on debut and is charging away to win the first heat. Artillery first, second Senor Beach, and third better mind than yours.
Well, I like the horses because I think you're a really good judge, and when I said to you, should I be back in Artillery, you said Senor Beach is pretty good.
Yeah.
And that was the only doubt about it. Wasn't Artillery's ability. You just thought Senor Beach was probably at this stage of their
I think
career
the comment we made at the
better.
time was, Artillery's very green. It did win its trial the week before, which in 2-1.5, which is okay, certainly for a 2-year-old. But Senor Beach had the class edge. It may have just been a little underdone, and it was, it was off the track and it got its measure. Now, reverse the roles, Artillery may not have been able to sit outside. Artillery may not have been able to sit outside Senua Beach first up, but full credit, the Artillery showed gate speed first up, which you don't get to see in a 3-horse trial really. Was able to hold the front and too good.
I'd tell you, if your dad's not Art Major though, Cab just shoos you down the street, doesn't he? You're not getting in.
He loves them. He loves them. But anyway, it's time to move on to a bit of news, brews and barbecues. That's just a bit of general racing news to start the week, and time now to get a little bit more serious with some news, brews and barbecues, thanks to Dave McKay and Carnet Auctions. All right, Rock, you're going to kick us off this week with a bit of news?
Oh, it's just a conversation piece, really. I read that, because we do 2-3 laps rather than the thoroughbreds, and the last one last driver that didn't, that mistook the laps, if that's the word that we use, was a couple of years ago. And for some reason, we've had 5 since the debacle at Broken Hill. Now, either the drivers are thinking, that looks pretty funny, I'm going to try that myself, or there's a brain fade going on. We had one just recently where that Sophia
Bellet.
Arbison.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Zoomed along the sprint lane a lap too early.
Yeah.
Then there was 2 in Gloucester Park in the same night. Then there was another one last week. So all of a sudden we're getting these 5 or 6 occasions in the last couple of weeks that drivers are mistaking the laps.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Tell
you a funny story. Back at the old Gawler days,
yeah.
I remember sitting at home. I might have been 12, 13 at the time. It eludes me how long ago Gawler actually shut down, but it was back. Gary Butler was a very, very strong mentor for me growing up with, and actually had my first fast work drive at 10 years old. I shouldn't say that online, thanks to Gary. And I still remember Mum looking out the window actually and saying, "Where's he going?" And there was Gary leading me out the window to do a fast work trip. But Gary this one night, and he probably hate me saying it, but he was at Gawler sitting behind the sprint lane, and it was the last race. It was late on the Friday night. Your race used to be on a Friday night. It was about 11 o'clock or something, and I was sitting in the lounge chair watching it, and Gary's pulled to the inside, like we talked about the sprint lane, and got up and really punched it out and won well, up the sprint lane at Gawler, and he realised there was a lap to go, and he pulled back in, and I said, Gary, I was throwing stuff at the TV, and he was training from our place at that time, and the stewards called him in, and they said, Mr. Butler, what were you thinking? And he said, I've been working very long hours at Tip Top. I think he was at Tip Top at the time, and I was a little fatigued, and I think it might have been Gerard Lawler at the time, and he said, Mr. Butler, you got 6 weeks to sleep it off, mate.
So he's forgiving of the...
He was forgiving of the sentence. He said, but I condole with you. I consult, but you got 6 weeks to rest up, mate.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so that was a good little one. But anyway, in other news, the claimers are some very competitive racing at the moment, Rocky. And, sort of they just throw the baton around each week who decides to win, I suppose, but or not win, who pops
it's just
theirs
one
up
I
win.
brought up because if you do your homework with the claimers instead of just saying, that $1.50 favourite's going to win, there's value in the claimers. If you go back through them, like $50 one on Monday, when Starlight Rainbow won his last race, he was 7s into 9 to 2. And there's been a few that have been specced at pretty long odds that have run nice races. I just reckon they're really good competitive races at the moment, and do your homework and you'll find a nice price winner there.
Yeah, the claimers are, and you do see, Chris Nielsen's just brought one over recently, Charming Major. It's added to it. Like, they're only small fields, but they're competitive, and well supported by Shane Loon, and he final over won as a long price last week.
Well, he got beaten 8 metres to start before.
Yeah,
that's not very far, so he didn't have to find a whole lot of improvement and got the luck in the run. Yeah, and what did it pay, $50 odd? So
yeah. Might have been a Tommy's Impact special, one of those long runs prices. Anyway, time now for some brews. Brews now, and I'll tell you what, this stable is on fire at the moment. And Lance Holborn, you made the comment to me on Saturday night, Rock, when we were sitting down. We weren't at the races, but we certainly watched the races and communicated throughout the night. And what went good, what didn't go good, what's our 3-1 no cover, so on and so forth. But he knows how to find a good horse, Lance Holborn. And we spoke about Regal Scribe. I think it was one of our, I reckon it might have been our first episode last year.
Mate, I remember you saying to me again that when Culture King was nominated for the $1 million pace in New South Wales, that they were toying with the idea of taking up.
Remember we actually saw Lance at the Gawler Gold Cup, the dogs, and he spoke about then how they were looking at the option of the $1 million pace. In other, going back a segment in other news, that's actually been called off, the $1 million pace, and divided out into regional based segments. But interesting, I might just come back to that actually in a minute. But Regal Scribe, he bookended the program with Regal Scribe and made it 2 on end. Dancing Finn, very nice horse, the 2-year-old. And it finds a way to win, Dancing Finn. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a $24,000 race, was 30, I'm guessing, with the 20% reduction. And people say, well, he's won 4 in a row, kind of hope something else gets some prize money here. Well, he deserves it if he wins this race. He's been up for a while for a 2-year-old.
Yeah, drawn well, drawn the pole.
And drawn the pole. And he'll start favourite, no question. And to Lance's credit,
good pickup drive there for Wayne Hill. So Wayne Hill's got the drive. I reckon his biggest danger is actually on his back, and that's Ryan will be driving it. Black Top Rock. Another good heat winner last week. Artillery's there, but drawn wide on the second row. But Dancing Finn, it looks its race to lose. There was a bit of a scare at the start last week, just after the start. So you're going to have to be on its best behaviour from barrier 1, but Wayne Hill will do his best to get it away. The Sitting Duck, my numbers in the Golden Nursery, if we're talking there, I think Dancing Finn from Black Top Rock and Artillery are the 3. But there'll be something private set up as well. But certainly it looks Dancing Finn's race. Anyway, it's time now for a barbecue. Interesting segment. This I don't know. Don't know how to approach it. I got to bite my tongue a bit.
Yeah, you do. But look, mate, everything's going so well out there at the moment. Everyone's on the same page in terms of not trying to get more people into the track, and we're lucky that we're an industry that's still going. We're still racing 3 times a week, and everyone is getting an opportunity to earn. So for me, and look, I was involved in this, mate, because we've had a couple of horses that kept on drawing 5, 6, 7, and were, their chances were diminished because of the draw that we got with the new system. But we've got to go with it. That's the rules right now. If you don't like it, that's fine. But there's nothing you can do about it until the authorities decide to change it. So
what the barbecue here is actually the low-rated horse. You're people on low-rated horse.
Well, no, the barbecue is probably for the people who get annoyed, angry, fly off, that someone like Darren Billinger, Jake Webster,
Anthony Robinson
are finding these horses on low ratings because that's what the system says you can do right now.
Yeah.
So, and one was hallucination. Now, I'm sure that there was people that thought, here we go, this will win 15 in a row.
It's been beaten its last
two.
On its merits.
On its merits. So it doesn't mean they're going to be superstars every time they go around because the market's made them $1.50.
You're not stopping me any longer, right?
Right.
Because there is loopholes in any system.
Yeah.
Right? And loopholes may or may not be the right word to use, right? But it's the people and their ability to find those opportunities, right? Anyone can do it. Right? Anyone can go and spend 20, 30,000 for a horse from New Zealand, 15, 20, 10,000 for a horse from WA on a low rated. You can do it.
They're in Victoria too.
Right? They're in Victoria to a lesser extent. Know the system, know how to work it, and you can do it like everyone else.
And what it does, mate, is it makes our pool of horses bigger.
But I tell you what, right? If it is not that, it will be something else.
Maybe.
They've got to have something to complain about.
Yeah.
Right. And you're right, hallucination, and full credit to Darren Billinger, and he's doing a great job backing this horse up twice a week at the moment with the racing. He's in it for a bit of fun with his owners. And they've paid okay money for this horse. They haven't gone out and found one for 2,000 on low. Like, they've paid okay money. Now I'm not going to go on record and say what it is. It's totally, we know, right? And for those out there that do, anyone can go and do it.
Yeah.
Right. And Anthony Robinson's found one. We spoke about it on the show last week that'll be over in recent weeks. So,
Chris Nielsen's got the one from...
There's another one. I believe that Ryan might have looked at one. I don't know its name at all, but I believe Ryan might be getting one from Perth. There is opportunities there. Right?
I know it gets back to the breeding as well, mate, but I'm
sorry, we've got two coming. Like we've got two coming. We've got one in the low 30s. We've got one in the mid 40s.
Yeah,
you gotta know the system. And I was only talking to Ryan about this on the weekend. He asked me to try and sell one of his to Queensland. And he said, it's been caught up in that system at that mid-60 range,
Yeah.
And he said, we really need to look at what we're doing. And he talks about him and a good owner of his, or any of his owners, but Paul Brumby, who always used to buy those $2,000 and $4,000, I hate using the word, shit fighters, and turn them into a horse. And they've done a fantastic job at it. You look at Star Brutus, right? They paid a bit more for it, right? Double what they normally do. And it went on 120 odd races, but they turned that into a horse. And Ryan's very, very good at finding those horses with Paul and doing it. Those horses hit their mark so quickly. So it's now about finding the horses that have been there, done it at the lower grades, that have been there and done it, need a rejuvenated life, and come here and allow earning potential. And hallucination, and I'll go back to hallucination, and full credit to Darren, right? And I know he watches the show. He, like everyone else, knows it's there to be beaten. And Colonial beat it fair and square the other night.
Yeah.
But it'll keep winning, right? It's only a 32 rater.
Yep.
But it's there to be beaten.
It is.
Beat it on its merits, people. Don't complain about it.
Well, I know you've got one night out with Jake, and without being stupid, it won nicely the other day. But I reckon if Luke's horse got out earlier, Sun Valley Road, he would have got a whole lot closer than what it did. So you're not 20 metres ahead of him, are you? With
the only problem also, I'll go one step further before we move on, and we've stayed too long on this barbecue. HRSA do not succumb to the pressure of programming these horses out of it.
Yeah.
Right? And a horse like One Night Out, Jake and I spoke about it in depth, and he'd be happy to go on record, right? The programming makes it hard to race One Night Out in the next 6 weeks competitively.
Yeah.
Right? So don't succumb to the pressure. Everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone.
Yep.
Find the opportunity. Anyway, time now to find you in a 3-1 no cover. I said I was going to bite my tongue there, right?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
Couldn't help yourself, mate.
I'm not good at that, am I?
No.
Might find
trying
myself.
to teach you for 2 years.
Anyway, Rob, what you have been trying to teach me is find one to the follow, and 3 1 no cover. It's your favourite segment. I actually texted you one through last night, so I'll wait to that, but you go off first.
Yep. Well, who brings us this segment, by the way, mate?
Yeah, Steve Mackin and his team.
Yeah, he's a beauty, Steve.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had CJ Success from Lukey O'Neill's stable a couple of weeks ago, and he ran a good second of one night out, and he won on Monday at $4. So we're liking that one. Glenray Hanover, as much as I thought Dale Afford drove a terrific race the other night.
Yep.
Waited until probably the 250, which he knows he's got a short sprint. But it was disappointing to me, and I would take it out of our 3 wide no cover horses. Gordon Gill the same, one of Ryan's. He'd be disappointed with her last couple of runs, I would have thought. We whacked He's a Shark in last week, and it'll run Saturday night and be a super chance. But this week I'm going to go out on a bit of a limb. I watched it a few times, and it didn't look comfortable 2 or 3 times. I thought it was going to gallop, and that's Sir Roman, the free-legged horse that Danny and DK have got. And when it first hit the scene, mate, it had super speed and then just lost its way. I reckon it's one of those horses that you might get $10, $15 on Saturday night, and if it produces its
drawn a bit awkwardly inside the
awkwardly, but it's going to be one of those horses that when it works out what to do, the $15 that you get once in its lifetime will be back down to black and red money. So this week I'm just going to say, start following Sir Roman with some serious thought.
Lad, Maharaja goes to it. The inside, Ala Vitesse. It's Maharaja, Waipinga Lad, Ala Vitesse. Out deep, Just Cappy. Ala Vitesse, if you don't mind. Screams through and wins. Maharaja in a photo for second with Waipinga Lad.
You had one as well, mate, that you wanted to...
Wolf of West Bay for me this week will beat Sir Roman, but anyway, that's all right. In the
Same stable.
Same stable there. But, I like the run of Lucky VC last night.
Yep.
Many would have thought, for those betting in the run, if you were sitting at home, you probably would have you couldn't have had more on it, sitting 1-1 on the back of the eventual winner, Karmic Fire. But take a look at the replay here. Gator and Frank Pulicino stable. If it gets out 10 metres earlier, 15 metres earlier, it wins. I actually saw a photo today, 5 metres past the line on the angle, it's well in front. But take a look here, where Gator's just trying to look for that run. And, probably the run didn't come, could have gone to the outside, maybe still wouldn't have won then. Not a bad drive by Gator. She played her cards and just didn't open up. But it's ready to win, Lucky VC.
Better of the battle's just begun. It kicks back. Lift for peace back to the inside. Lucky VC squeezing through. It's tight. Wide out. Bobby's Delight. Where to look? Lucky VC flying at them. Hanging on. Karmic Fire held Lucky VC in a thriller.
Anyway, time now for Let It Ride. Let It Ride. Thanks to our terrific partners. We say it every week. I cover all 3 codes, and that is Garrard's Horse and Hound. Rock. It's been a very popular segment for winners this week, or in recent times. And I think you're right here. This horse won twice last week. We spoke about Better Have Time, Dancing Finn. You tip one of our own, which I don't like doing in recent weeks. It ain't the money. Rosiani, Coloniarati this week. It's sat outside. We talked about hallucination last week and beat it on its merits, and probably looked gone. But I think it was a very smart drive by Danny Hill. It was a very, very smart drive. She knew. And I actually spoke to her the week before, as I was leaving, when she sat outside, it ain't the money, and gave her certainly a fright in very good time. She said, dog doesn't try, just a passing comment, doesn't try. It tried. She drove it to its ability. She knew that it doesn't get up the straight the best, and sort of let hallucination just get away a little bit. Even top of the straight was that head away and then put the foot down late, and she knew she had a bit left in store. It was a very clever drive. So then it led and won very well, won very comfortably on Tuesday night, Monday. But looks a bit hard to control for it, but those horses do for Danny. They just love running. It'll keep winning, I think.
I remember that first start at Kapunda when it galloped and did all sorts of things wrong, and I thought Danny will never drive that horse again. But and Wayne did drive it the next couple, but they've worked it out and taken their time. And
this is another horse that
full credit to them.
And I feel sorry for them. They've obviously, the family bought it on the back of Solar Sonic. They went and bought this horse, but this horse here with the border restrictions, with not being able to go and go over the border, it's got a $7,000 Vic Bred bonus in it. That there's a $10,000 cash grab there. They can't get over the border and win it, and it would go to Mildura and just beat them up for fun. So I haven't spoken to them. They may be making the decision to send it over to get the money. It'll be interesting to see what HRV do in the way of Vic Bred size payments as well. We spoke about that. It's a very contentious issue, but maybe let's just take a look at the replay here of the closing stages on Monday with Coloniarati making it 2 in a row for the weekend.
Colonia straightens up clear, 10 metres, far as the eye can see. Marty's Party follows it through, charging home now. It'll be the Quinella horse, I would feel, but inside the 50, Colonia dashes clear. Marty's Party gets up for second, far as the eye can see, third, and fourth goes to I'm Telling Ya. Then came White Star.
Anyway, time now for Leroy the Lizard. Now, I know I went on record and I said something I probably shouldn't have, but I'll stick by it. Right, this horse will make a very nice horse by Pinger Lad.
Mm-hmm.
It still will. It should have won, and Ryan would probably. I haven't spoken to Ryan about it, but he'd probably be disappointed himself. He's he's his harshest critic,
yep.
and he'd be he would have liked to seen it win, and probably the run it got in front it probably should have won.
Yep, no question.
Leroy's more down than Ryan over this. He's 1 from 4 recently.
Leroy's struggling to pay the way.
He is. He's nearly out.
Yep.
Now you found one this week.
I did.
With Leroy.
Yeah.
Leroy actually rang you and said, in all fairness, Leroy said, I'm out, I'm done. He said, he actually handed his notice in, right? And he said, it's your segment this week. He said, no, Leroy, I'll help you this week.
Yeah. Well, he did. He rang and he said, no, I can't keep doing this. I'm making a fool of myself.
Yeah.
And you two blokes. And I said, well, listen, when you're out in your luck, mate, you either back a short price favourite or you go for the odds, and people
go for the jugular.
Yeah, and you get yourself back, and if it loses, people say, well, that's it was 20 to 1 or whatever it was, or he's back and he's a genius. And he said, well, I kind of like the trot. I remember going down to the trials as a 2-year-old, and this thing won by about 100 metres in a trial, and went to Melbourne and come back, and he said it galloped last week, and who knows, it might gallop again. I said, what are you talking about? And he said, Matt Maguire's got Bacardi Bindi, and I think it can win this week. All it has to do is get away from the start and get into its rhythm, and he thinks it'll win.
Very good with the trotter, Matt Maguire.
He is.
Back in the state now, and talk about Bacardi Bindi. He was actually, Matt spent the last couple of weeks in isolation, actually, just coming across back over from the border from Victoria. But I think you're right.
So who would have worked the horses when he was...
No, so his dad,
right.
So he's back. I'm not saying his dad's done a bad. Robin does a good job in his own right, but Matt's back. He'll be back across it, and he'll have this horse right. He actually had a 2-year-old trotter qualified today went 2.5 its last mile.
Wow.
Around Globe Derby, so he's good with the trotter.
Yep.
I'm with you this time, Leroy.
Good on you, Leroy.
All right, so let's see if he can bounce back. But thanks to Sports Centre who bring us that segment, Leroy the Lizard. Leroy might be going there to do some free labour in coming weeks if he can't, or better still, collecting the cans and bottles on the highway.
On the highway.
Right, it's been a pleasure again.
Yes, mate.
We've found some runners to follow. You're back this week. You got to wait up late Saturday night.
Races 6 and 7.
You've been better.
Yeah, I'll have a little rest beforehand.
You might have the iPad set up laying down on the couch and fall asleep. I'll ring you Sunday morning.
Up and up. That'll be. No, I'm actually coming out to track work Saturday morning.
Are you?
Yep.
There you are. Jesus.
Yeah, I'll be there about 10:30.
It'll be over then, mate.
No, I'm coming out Saturday morning.
You bring the coffee and scones?
Probably not, but depends. You give me your card and I'll load up.
Right.
For Saturday morning.
I'm leaving it here now. All right. There's the card. All right. There you go.
Good. Thank you, mate.
You're on Saturday morning.
Get you one coffee and go to the ATM. Thank you, boys.
Anyway, thank you, ball boys. Thank you, linesmen. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back this time next week with racing, pacing, and chasing.